Jade, Karen Bonifilio, Outer Realms, Inner Journeys. Thank you for joining us today. I am so excited to talk to Susan Grayson today. And I'm going to have her say hi before I tell you about her.
Hi everybody. Glad to see you out there.
And I know they're glad to see you too. Well, see, Susan is a medium. She's a psychic. She's a teacher and a spiritual communicator. And guess what? She's a published author. So you got two authors in the house. And I'm going to ask her to come on the channel again to share about her book. She is committed to assisting people to develop their psychic skills and their spiritual gifts. So I imagine she does some teaching in this area. So we will find this out as we go along. Susan, is there anything you want to say before I start grilling you down? I'm not really going to grill you down.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay, well, tell me, what first drew you to spirituality or psychic mediumships?
I guess I was I was always drawn to all this stuff, even as a child. I mean, I always felt the angels around me. And, I grew up in a very strict Catholic Boston family. And it was just me and my sister and my parents and, very strict Catholic. So they weren't really open to this stuff, although later in life, my mother would have spiritualists come to the house, for a group of people and stuff. And that was
Oh,
really cool. But basically, they just, we just went to church and everything. We did everything that we were supposed to do. But
right.
I always felt like there's something more, and I questioned everything. I mean, I'm not saying that, I don't think any one religion has all the answers. I think they all offer some truth. But I always, to me, why shouldn't you go to church and be happy and excited and enjoy it and feel that loving, beautiful presence around you and all that? And to me, it was, always going and feeling guilty. You go to confession
Right.
on Saturday, you go to communion on Sunday, and then you feel guilty all over again. You no longer walk from the confessional and you feel guilty. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I'm not going to say anything about Catholicism. So,
Oh, I know. But it is beautiful. You go into the churches and they have the incense and they have the candles and the beautiful stained glass windows and the wooden pews and everything. It's a beautiful, beautiful environment, a beautiful sanctuary. But it's just that, when I grew up, it was a lot different. I mean, I'm a lot older. So when I grew up, it was like, it was tough. It was very strict.
okay,
But
well,
now, if you go to the Catholic Church, it's not nearly the same way.
there's so many things I could say, but I'm just going to hold my tongue because that is not what this is about.
Right, right.
So,
But you know what? The good thing is I felt it gave me the discipline growing up. You know what I mean?
yes.
To do the right thing, to feel the empathy for others and the compassion and for life and the beauty of it.
Well, that's good. That's really, really good to do that. Yeah. So there are a lot of benefits that you did receive. And then you just
Yes.
kind of branched out from there.
Yeah, I just always questioned everything and I wanted to know more and more. And I just really I resonated to the metaphysical world. I mean, when I was in high school, I kind of studied a little bit. I studied handwriting analysis. I did that for a few years out of a school in Chicago, and I believe it's still there,
Mm-hmm.
International Graphoanalysis Society. But, I thought that was so interesting. But I always, it, all of a sudden I was here in my 20s, right? My mid 20s, and my kids were real little. And I had this neighbor across the street, and she was quite a bit older than me. She was like in her 60s at the time. And she came over one day and she brought a deck of tarot cards. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is it.
Oh,
This is my answer. I mean, it was just incredible. It was like a an awakening. I just resonated to it. And it's just, I loved it. And that was it. That was it. I was hooked. And then she brought some books over for me to read. I mean, she was a beautiful, beautiful person. You know, we'd go to stores. At that time, there was a whole bunch of metaphysical stores in Albuquerque. There's like 9 of them. And she came over and she brought some books on reincarnation. And when I read them, I thought, you know what? That makes so much sense to me. I never, I always questioned everything, and then it's like I got my answers, and from that point on, everything just really
So I want to backtrack a little bit.
right. I'm
So
jumping ahead. I'm sorry.
no, 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 no. I just want to ask you some questions about what you just said.
Sure.
So now I know that Catholicism has a different way of when you die, what happens. Do you embrace that, or are you open to reincarnation now?
Oh, I don't embrace the fact that you either go to heaven, hell, or purgatory. No, I don't embrace that. Because, what happened is when I started reading the books on reincarnation, I started having dreams, very vivid dreams, and I remember them. And, I remember times that I was a different person in a different place, even though I'd never been to that place in this lifetime. For instance, I dreamt one night that I was this guy, and I was caught up in the mafia. And this was in San
Wow.
Francisco, and I had never been in San Francisco in this lifetime. However, I I met up with my sister and her husband. I have no idea who they were. That was that lifetime. And I told them, I said, you're not going to see me again because they're on to me. I've stole all this money, and they're going to kill me. And so what happened right after that, they kidnapped me. They threw me on this boat, and they beat the heck out of me.
This is your
And
dream?
then I was able to fall overboard and drown. And as I was drowning, the light came through the ocean, this beautiful golden light, and these hands came and they lifted me up.
Oh,
It was just
wow.
so incredible. I mean, and that was so real to me. And then
Hmm.
another time, 3 other times, I dreamt of being this minister in England, and it was at this. The street was Gloucester. Now I've been to England a couple of times, but I've never been to this part of London.
Okay.
And I remember seeing the church. It was made of stone, and it had like the woods behind it. It was up on a little bit of hill. I've never been there, but I was an old minister man, and I was so happy, and it was such a peaceful life. And I've dreamt of that 3 times, so it must be significant. And I knew I was that person. And I've had other dreams, like I was, a captain that went down the ship and everything.
So
And
do you think these dreams are showing you past lives that you've had?
yeah, oh, definitely, because I
Okay.
felt it. I was that person.
Hmm.
Probably about 10 years back, I had been to New York City before, but we decided we would go to see the Statue of Liberty. And so we took the little ferry out. And so here I am on the boat, and all of a sudden I just start bawling my eyes out because I remembered I had come from Ireland, and I was during the potato famine, and I was on the boat, and I remember how huh, how excited I got when I saw the Statue of Liberty. I mean,
This is
there's
so
gonna
neat that you can see your past lives in your dreams.
yeah. Well, I'm a certified hypnotherapist, so I can bring people back that all that past life stuff.
Someone did that to me once, and I remembered one past lifetime, and I loved it, and I didn't want to come out of the session because it felt so good, what was
It
happening.
gives you answers. In my
Mm.
book, I talk about the past lives, and you can go through and as many lifetimes as you want, as many past lives. I just read the script, tape it, and do it yourself.
Okay, very cool. Well,
Yeah,
we're going to have to explore more about this later.
right, later.
So, when you're going to do a reading, do you prepare yourself for? Uh-oh, you disappeared. Okay, you're back.
Yeah, okay. So,
Okay.
how I prepare myself, I realized when I started doing readings, I mean, I did them for everybody, and then I did fairs all the time. And they were quite popular in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, late
Yeah.
80s, 90s. And so I went everywhere, did fairs. And what I find that, I can't do this on my own. I get a lot of help from the other side. So
Yes.
to prepare for a reading, I focus on my breathing, I relax, like almost like a meditative state. And I close my eyes and I say a little prayer to the other side. I ask my angels, my guides, my God, my loved ones to help me give this person some honest, accurate, and truthful messages. And then I go. And then I just trust whatever messages come through. I mean, things come through. Like, I remember one of the first readings I did. This woman, I said to her, I said, now you're going to think this is really crazy, but I saw you on the flying trapeze. And she says, well, that's not crazy at all. I lived in the circus for 3 years. So, I mean, you just
It's
never
nice to have
know.
that validation.
You never
Yeah.
know what's going to come up, but you have to have faith and you have to believe and you just have to trust whatever messages come through. I remember like this one recently. I mean, you can't make these things up, right? I said to this person, I said, I see your grandfather around you, and he's got a glass eye, and he walks with a limp. And she says, yes, he does. That was,
Okay. I don't
I'm
either.
back.
I'm going to tell you a little something. When I've been on with other psychic mediums, there's a lot of spirits come in, and it messes with the electronics. It messes with my dogs too. So um, I'm kind of used to it now. I
And
don't
your
know
dog's probably
if
sitting back at the corner, and you think, what are they barking for? Do they see
they're talking.
Bono, or who do they see?
Well, Bono always seems to come through, so we'll see if he
Yeah,
if he shows up today.
sure.
Do you believe that everyone has psychic ability?
I sure do. Everybody, we all get messages. Sometimes we get messages in our dreams. Sometimes it's our loved ones that just come through and say, hi, I'm with you. You know, no message, but I love you. That's it. And, but we all have this. It's just that you have to be aware of it. You have to pay attention. And that's what, I try to teach people. Don't, it's not what you read or what you see, it's how it makes you feel. Do you feel like, that's right or wrong? Or, do you feel a chill? It's all, they're there. They're with us all the time. But sometimes we get so preoccupied in our everyday stuff that we just ignore it, or we don't, I don't have time for this. I have to get all this work done, whatever. And,
Right.
but they're there, they love you, and that's the biggest thing. They want you to know they love you.
So, do you teach classes?
Yes, I teach mediumship. I used to teach all these other classes, but they're all in my book, so I don't teach it anymore. Figure you can
Okay.
learn it yourself.
And I just want the audience to know we are going to have her come back and talk about her book
Sure,
too.
I don't want to keep
We are
covering. Yeah,
get
yeah.
some more information about
But
that.
we all have these gifts. If you want to develop them, you will. It's all a matter of paying attention to the world around you, to the feelings you get. Sometimes, when I'm doing mediumship, like I'll say, I can taste like tobacco or something.
Yes.
This uncle of yours, he's there and he smoked quite a bit. Or, I can smell these cookies. Did you have a grandmother that baked these certain cookies? And, chocolate chip, and she would put nuts in them and everything. So we all have these senses. We all have these abilities to develop. It's just how much do you want to develop it? Are you serious about it? And it's
Right.
just paying attention and listening.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you. Well, you've shared a lot of memorable experience about your dreams and with the people you connect with. How do you handle skeptics that may come to you and
I feel like they have a right to believe whatever they want, and I definitely don't let them invade my space with any negative stuff. I wish them well, and I feel like maybe in the back of my mind, like maybe they'll come to a point someday where they'll understand this, or be open to this. But it's
yes,
not my place to tell other people what to believe or what to think.
right.
We have to grow into this, and we have to want to develop it. But it's there for
Yeah, it
everybody.
is. It is. It is. Um, do you have any signs or symbols? You keep disappearing, girl. Don't cuss, okay?
These calls, and people never call me. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Oh gosh. Well, do you get symbols or signs that mean certain things to you?
Yes, and what the spirits on the other side, when they're delivering a message and everything, they do not waste time. They do not waste words. What they say is true. And what they try to do is they try to give you messages and thoughts that you would relate to. I mean, like if I was a musician, I would probably relate to certain songs or certain,
Right.
certain instruments, and they would, it depends on where you're at in life. But we've all had these experiences, especially by the time you get my age, and so they're gonna give you messages and thoughts and ideas that you can relate to. So yeah,
Sorry, I was choking.
sorry.
Um, so if someone is going to start out their spiritual journey, do you have any suggestions for them?
Well, what I did, find a tool that you love. I love the tarot cards. That was my first thing. So I had to learn them, and the cards. There's 78 of them. They're incredible, but you learn to play with them and you learn to do readings because that same card, may have a different meaning for each person you do a reading for. So, and they have oracle cards. So the cards are the easy things. They're enjoyable. You find out about yourself. You find out about the world. You find out about this person that you're reading for. And then there's other things like pendulums. Scrying in a mirror. Nostradamus. He had a huge cauldron, and he would fill it with water, and then he would put black ink, and he would spend his time and gaze into that black water, and he would get visions. It's kind of neat. Another
Oh
trick you might
wow.
try: get a glass bowl or a glass cup that's fairly deep, and fill it with water, and then just meditate and look in it, and you'll start seeing things. Or you can, look in a black mirror and light a little candle beside you. And then the whole thing is learning to quiet your mind, focus on your breathing, get yourself in like a meditative state. You don't have to go real deep, and just see what happens. And like automatic writing, that's the same thing. It's real easy. And, you know, automatic writing is like, you just relax for a minute, put yourself in like a meditative state for a minute, and then you write the date on the top of the paper, and you write a question like, what does my soul want me to know right now? And then think about it. You'll be amazed. Just start writing all this stuff,
Well,
and
actually, I'm going to try this tomorrow. I'm going to get the water in a cup. I'm going to do that, and I'll try the automatic writing. I did that a few years ago, and I can't remember the outcome. I don't know, but I am so glad you brought those up again.
yeah. Well, when I tried doing the first time I tried doing this glass bowl with the water, I was in a strange house. It was supposedly a haunted house. And I was sitting with some friends, and I was just staring at the water. And next thing I know, I see these four faces in there. And apparently they were people that had lived in that house. So it was really cool. So
That's
there's so many things you can do to discover and develop these gifts. Um, you
well.
know,
Sometimes when we mention the word meditation, it really turns people off. But it doesn't sound like you're sitting there for 20 minutes trying to get into a meditative state.
you know what I tell people? This is not Tibet. We do not live in caves. We can't sit there for 8 hours a day. No way. We're very busy people. So just take time, find a place that's quiet. Maybe you're sitting in the woods or maybe on your porch.
Hmm.
And just find a place that's very sacred to you. Close your eyes and just focus on your breathing. And all you have to do is sit there and be receptive to the other side and any messages that come through. Just sit there for 5 or 10 minutes. You don't have to do more than that. In fact, if I try to do more than that, I fall asleep. So it doesn't work for me.
Oh
I
my.
can't sit still that long. So
Do you have any suggestions to the listeners how to quiet their mind? Just let
just
it come
focus.
in
The
and
big thing is find a quiet place and focus on your breathing. Breathe in slowly, breathe out. Maybe you want to breathe it in like to the count of 4, hold
mhm,
it to the count of 4, and then breathe out to a count of 4. And as you're breathing in, breathe in love and light and beauty and peace.
yes.
And when you're breathing out, you're letting go of all that anxiety, all that stress of the day, all that stuff. And just do that. Just do it for 10 minutes. Set your little timer for 10 minutes. You don't have to do it for more than that. And if you do that consistently every day, you will start getting messages. It's
Ooh.
the same way I tell people, so you can't meditate. So what I want you to do is at night, when you're getting ready for bed, shut the lights off and everything. You can have a little candle going or something in a safe place. But just just get yourself in a quiet place. Close your eyes. It's dark in the room, and I want you to just talk to your angels, your guides, your loved ones, whoever it is on the other side to help you. Maybe you had a terrible day and you need to just like maybe you're in the wrong job. Say, okay, there's got to be a job out there that I have prosperity, that I have, I can really enjoy. I get excited when I get up in the morning, that I feel like I'm contributing to the world and I'm making a difference in my life. So please give me some answers and keep thinking that. It's amazing. You keep thinking that all night and you fall asleep, of course. But
Mm,
either you're going to have a very important dream in the middle of the night, you might wake up, or you may wake up in the morning with some answers. And even
mhm,
if you don't, pay attention to any messages that come your way. You may be driving along the next day
yes.
and you feel like, I need to go over to that store right there. And your practical mind says, what in the world would you go to that store for? There's nothing there. But you might go in that store and you might see a bulletin board with something on it. Somebody might say something to you. It's like be aware. Open your heart and open your mind. And you'll be amazed because the answers are there. The angels, the guides, they will always help you out. Bono will help you. Just have
Mhm,
to ask. All you
mhm,
have to do is say, hey, angels. I tell people, like, for instance, they're worried about their kids, but they can't
mhm,
seem to, you know, control them or whatever, change their minds or whatever. So I say, you know what? Hand it over to the angels, to God. Call in your
mhm,
angels, say, look, please surround my child with love, protection, and guidance and love and, all that, and let it go. Let them do it because we are confined to the physical world. They are
yes.
not. They can
Right.
perform miracles, they do all the time. So when you need the help, ask for it. They always will help you. If something is not meant to be, of course, they can't make it happen. But they will help you and at least help you be aware of what
Mhm.
what the choice would be to help you.
You've got some really good things you're sharing. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
You just make it so doable. Just
It
kind of
is.
just make it really doable. What happens when your client is wanting a specific message and they're not receiving it? Does that ever
Okay.
happen to you?
So before I do a mediumship reading with somebody, I tell them, look at, I know you may want a certain person to come through, and I will try to address them. I'll try to have them come through, but I'm not really in control. There's other people that may really want to jump to the front of the line and want to talk to you
Yeah.
and give you a message. So, maybe that person, maybe they, oftentimes when somebody passes, like, and they just pass. I usually tell people I'd rather do a reading for you when they pass for like 3 months or 6 months because they're adjusting to the other side, and even though it's beautiful and everything's great over there, they need a little time, and so. But I will say to them, I'm not in charge of who comes through. I can tell you, who comes through. I can describe them to you and everything, but it's up to them if they want to come through or not. So
Right.
that is something I'm not in charge of.
And I've heard that if you've lost a loved one, that you should wait a little while before you do a reading with someone.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, well, why doesn't my loved one come through? Why haven't I heard from them? And I'll say, maybe they feel you're not ready. Maybe you're going through a healing and a grieving time right now. And usually, they will have dreams and everything. It's just a matter of time. It's when that person wants to come through.
And my understanding is dreams are one of the easiest ways for spirit to contact you too.
Of course. And you know why? Because we are relaxed. During the day, we've got our mind going here and there. We're going here and there physically. And, we're so wrapped up in our everyday activity. And then all of a sudden, we go to sleep and we're more receptive to the other side. We're relaxed. We're open to anything that comes through. Sometimes we don't remember it, but, you can get in the practice of trying to remember by when you wake up. Don't move. Don't move your head. Don't move any part of your body. And it's like, just stay there and try to recall what you just dreamt. And then get up and run off to the bathroom, that kind of thing.
Right.
But
Well,
you have to not move at all. And write it down because we don't always remember. And sometimes you write these things down and they don't make any sense at all. And then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, you look at the writing and it's like, I know exactly what that meant. You just have to give it time to unfold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Dreams are very powerful.
How do you differentiate between having a psychic reading and a counseling session with someone?
Well, when you do a counseling with somebody, they're talking to you, you're communicating back and forth, and you're just trying to get different ideas about what's going on in their life and everything. But a psychic will come up with stuff that there's no way they should know that. Like, for instance, well, especially when you do the mediumship, because they're going to come through and say, that person just got married 2 months ago or something, that. But even a psychic will say, like a psychic reading, normally you're looking at the person and you're getting messages. Whereas sometimes when you do the mediumship, you're kind of looking up there and getting information from the other side. But the psychic reading, you're telling the person something that they're wondering, like, how did you know that? How did you find that out? Who told you that? Did you look me up? Like we have time to look everybody up and know everything about somebody. We don't. We could care less. But a psychic reading is saying, like, I just have this feeling that, in the next couple of weeks, put your angels around you when you're driving and before you get in your car and when you get in the house and everything. And make sure you're aware of, because there's going to be, a lot of traffic. And I see that when I was doing readings, I used to go to El Paso. We did it 5 times a year. And I did it for like 20 years. Even when I lived in Corpus Christi, I'd go back and forth. But I remember there was this one woman, and she was a palmist. She did palmistry, and she was from England, and she was so great. Her name was Huwain. So every 3 months, I'd see her, and we'd exchange readings. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So this one time, we exchanged readings, and she read my palms and everything, and then I laid out the cards and everything, and they weren't making a whole lot of sense. They weren't really telling me anything. And I distinctly heard a voice from the other side, this is the last time you're going to see her. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't say anything to her. And they kind of showed me a car accident. And I said to her, all I said was, she had a boyfriend, but, she would ask about all these guys and everything. And I wasn't getting anything. So she said, so I said to her, I said, Huwain, when you go out driving or riding, I want you to make sure you put those angels around you. Because I just feel like, there could be a car accident coming up and everything. I hope I'm wrong, but, always protect yourself with the angels. And, but I made up this reading for her. I didn't know what to say to her. There wasn't anything significant. But anyway,
I don't know if you told me to be careful driving in a car, oh my
or
goodness.
riding in a car, just put your angels around you.
Yeah.
So 2 months later, she was with her boyfriend. They were in a motorhome, and they hit some ice or wet street in Houston. They went off the road, and she died immediately.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and I felt really bad because we spent a lot of time together when we weren't at the fair. She was a good friend.
Did you think that was what was going to happen, that it was getting near her time to pass and your guides were letting you
I
know
just
that?
had a sense that she had to be careful in riding in a car or driving. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it was just so sad. But yeah, but it was her time. It was her time,
Yeah,
and
I know. I hate that, and I hated that when I heard it about Bono. It was his time,
yeah,
and and I figure, yeah, you don't check out of here until it is your time, and
right.
then you
Unless
go.
you do it to yourself. Yeah, take
Yes,
responsibility yourself. Yeah,
yes, yeah. Oh my
but
gosh,
yeah,
you've had
but
some really good experiences. I'm really enjoying listening.
yeah, yeah. And
Talking about.
there's just life is very beautiful. So we choose to come here. We choose to come here because it's green, because it's blue and it's beautiful, and we want to reconnect with our loved ones that we've known before. You
Yeah,
may come into a family, and maybe this person was your dad in one lifetime, and in this lifetime they were your sister. You know what I mean? They
yeah.
just change roles, but you want to reconnect with them. So that's why we
Yeah.
keep coming back. And maybe we
Oh,
want to accomplish something. maybe we want
well,
to maybe we want to get together with Karen and talk on the podcast.
hey, you know what? Anybody out there that would like to share their abilities, you just get a hold of me and we'll chat.
I
Because
think
I
that's a
don't
great
know,
idea.
Susan, I don't. And this is the first time we met, and she has some wonderful things to share with
I thank you,
everybody.
Karen.
Oh,
Well,
you're welcome.
I did ask Bono earlier to tell you something, and what
Oh, do I get a message?
the message he came through with me is he wants you to. He will always love you. The love is always going to be there. You'll meet again and all that, but he wants you to live your life and enjoy it for the time you have here.
God,
Enjoy it
darn it.
completely.
I'm gonna.
And because life is precious, life is important. It's fragile.
Well, this is the first time, because he died 4 years ago. This is
Hmm.
the first year I finally felt joy.
Yeah.
That I wasn't just going through the motions, that I was really feeling joy. And I know he knows I love doing these interviews. I find this really fun.
And he's so proud of you, how you've grown spiritually. Really.
Oh my God. I
You
know.
know.
Yeah. And I know my growth makes his growth in heaven more too. He's growing also. And we're still growing and learning.
And
Yeah.
you're teaching the people around you, you're teaching your family how to adjust to people and how to love that, we live forever. We never die.
No.
The physical body dies, but, we don't die. We live forever. We go
Yeah.
on to, other dimensions and everything.
One of the things always in the morning I go out in nature with the pups, and I talk to my spiritual team and to the ascended masters and to God, and I always tell God, thank you for. I am so happy to be a part of you. I am so grateful that I am a
Yes.
spark of divinity and that I get to experience and I get to evolve and I get to grow. And I'm just always so grateful for that.
But you're making a difference in the world because you're
Yes.
spreading the word, you're spreading love.
That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Love. Love's always the answer. And everybody goes, oh, that's so silly.
Exactly.
Well, it's not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And your
Well,
book is
Susan,
good too. And I know you're coming out with your second book, so that's really awesome.
say that again.
I said I enjoy your book, and you're coming out with the second book that's going to be a real healing for people.
That second book, I think I'm going to write a book for children. And it's going to be through the eyes of one of my doggies, because doggies well, all animals can see spirits and they're of the angelic realm. And we can go through that another time.
Yeah, but you
But
realize they're the first ones to greet you when you go to the other side. Your
I
animals, your pets.
know. I told my birth angels, I said, when I die, what I want to do, I want to go up into the galaxies and the stars, and I just want to be in awe of that. And then I want to see all my animals before I see anybody, even Bono. I want to see all my
Yeah.
animals that I've
The
had in.
spirits are around you. Don't you notice sometimes out of the corner of your eye, you could swear you see one of your dogs run by, or one of your pets that you had before?
Yes. Hmm.
Or
Yeah.
you feel, sometimes you feel like they jumped on the bed. There's nobody there.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah.
The kitties. That's who I feel in the bed are the
Yeah.
kitties. Yeah. Well, and I know my dogs will look around, and I go, okay, who you seeing? Who's out there? Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I mean a real little kid, probably a toddler, my cousin was visiting my grandmother, and they lived in Massachusetts, and they had like a long hallway that would go into the rooms.
Uh-huh.
And one day my cousin, she's 10 years older than me, and she said, look, there was a dog that ran by her and into the wall. So of course, after that, they had the priest come out and bless the place and everything, do an exorcism and everything. But yeah, there was always something there.
Hmm. I love when I feel their energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wrap this up,
Okay.
but I
Thank
want
you.
to know, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience or anything?
So what I'd like to say is just believe in yourself. We all have these abilities.
Hmm.
Believe and trust and just be aware of the world. Maybe you could do something simple like, during the day, sit in a room, it's quiet, and close your eyes and listen to the sound of the traffic, of the kids outside. That's to develop your hearing, and there's just so many things that you can do to develop your gifts, but we all have them. And so don't be afraid of them. God gives you these gifts for a reason to use them.
Right, right, right. Well, the links are down below, so you can find out more about Susan and learn about her and contact her if you want. And Susan, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're coming back. And when we get off, don't
Okay.
hang up because I still want to talk to you for a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Thank
you
you,
for coming.
Karen. Bless
Mm,
you. Thank
namaste.
you. Namaste.
Yeah.